Hello there, croeso and welcome. I'm Shadow Lummox and I'm back here on Wreckfest to do some online racing. We start off straight away in a Class A race on an actual proper circuit, but the rest of the races are going to be on the slightly sillier circuits. Now I'm sticking to the inside of the first few corners just to try and stay away from the carnage as best as I can, and it seems that I have managed to pull it off as we're coming out of the first few corners, and I'm in 5th position, which is an excellent start on Wreckfest. Coming up to this corner now is very tricky. You want to be as close to the inside as you can. Don't really want to let anyone get inside you because they'll just force you out wide, as you saw there, but it's a nice recovery. And I'm just going to force this car on my right just off track and end his race in a cruel way. Didn't take him out in any malicious way, just eased him off to the left slightly, and that was the end of their race. Now I'm coming up now to the end of the first lap, and I am still in that top positions. I'm now in 6th, but I can still see everyone around me. First hasn't shot off into the distance, and the win is still on. So take these corners gently. You want to usually try and stay to the inside of the corner, but with the traffic around me, wasn't able to do that. Get a nice run here, break in a straight line, stay as tight as I can, get a little nudge from behind, but they managed to take each other out, and I'm free now to chase down 4th position. A little lift round that little kink to the left, and then it's just flat out all the way down here. I sometimes use the throttle control, just lift it ever so slightly just to help me get around these corners. Then after that little jump, that's when you're braking for this hairpin up here. Someone makes another attempt to take me out, but I managed to get through it just fine. They hit me at the opportune point, shall we say, so I can still get round the corner just fine. But they're driving away from me. They've obviously got a bit of a speed advantage in their car, but I'm hoping that I've got a quality advantage, as some other drivers there have decided to fight amongst themselves and cost themselves some good positions. So I'm back up into 5th now on lap 3. We're coming up now to the hairpin, and there's a lot of time to be gained here, a lot of time to be lost. You can see the car there in 4th. It's taken a really bad line. It's allowed me just to cut back up, get the inside for this kink, and I'm always going to be the winner of that battle. As we can speed up now, as we go down the back straight, coming up to the final hairpin. It's very easy to take too much speed into that hairpin, but in the same breath it's easy to brake too much. You're braking uphill as it gets to the peak of the hill as well, and then the exit is downhill, so easy to carry in a lot of speed, get a lot of speed on the exit. I've let a car get up the inside there. Could potentially be dangerous for me, but I just brake, get out of it, get a better exit. I managed to get 2 positions then for the price of 1, and I'm now chasing down 2nd position while I'm in 3rd. Getting that corner much better now as the race goes on, keeping it nice and tight to the inside as we speed up the action now as we head down the back straight. So I'm chasing what I think is a Hammerhead RS, but could be wrong. Definitely has a bit of a straight line speed advantage over me, but most cars in A-Class do. I don't tend to upgrade my cars all the way to the max. I always put a bit of strength upgrades on because, well, this is Wreckfest, and sometimes you just need them. So I take that hairpin badly, but I don't lose the position. And now we're coming up with 2nd, 3rd and 4th just behind me. We're coming up on some lapped cars that are involved in their own personal battle. The AI are included in this as well. This can all get really messy. Fortunately, decide to brake a bit more for the corner, get my exit sorted, and hopefully I can drive straight by the lap cars. And I managed to get myself into second. But I probably should have avoided making the contact with the two cars there that were in second and third. It may come back to bite me a bit later, and that's unfortunately what it does. By doing that little tap, I allowed them to get themselves set, reset themselves, and to get going again. And here comes an angry driver running out wide, probably very deliberately, in an attempt just to get some revenge if possible. So I've lost second there, but I've still retained third position. Fourth is just behind me. It's the final lap. The person in first has already won, so I've just got to make sure now I get to the end, and that's exactly what I do. And taking away an excellent third position, and really anything in the top 5 in some of these bigger lobbies is good going. But then onto the fun, the silly tracks now, and we're up in one of the figure 8 circuits. So I've decided to use the hearse as it feels quite appropriate for all the death that's about to occur. So I'm ready and waiting to do my duty as an undertaker. But I've made a good start, got myself into second and now into third, and it's really just a case of trying to stay on the inside of the corners. It's something you're just going to hear me repeat a lot when it comes to Wreckfest racing, but if you let a human or an AI driver get up the inside, they're just going to put you into the wall, and they'll do it without hesitation. You get in Wreckfest, you get points for it, you get XP, so why wouldn't you? I'd definitely do it. So we're past the first few laps, and one of the downsides potentially with these sort of racing, with these sort of races, especially these small figure 8 ovals, 8-12 laps can be quite a lot, and especially if you get wrecked really early on, you could spend a lot of time spectating. But fortunately I do manage to make it close to the end on all of these races. But I've been knocked back down into 7th position, and I've got everyone though still around me. The competitors are getting spread out around the track, and this is when the carnage starts coming thick and fast. The first few laps of the race, you don't get much carnage in the crossover points because the field hasn't spread out, but now that it has, opportunities to lose and to gain places are just around every single corner. And without really doing too much myself, I've got myself back into 3rd position. Give this driver here a little love tap just to let them know I was coming by. And as the field gets spread out as well, there can be a lot of periods of driving around with nothing much going on, as has happened here. As you can see, all the carnage that are littered along the sides of the road is indicative of the attrition rate of these races, the amount of people that are already DNFing, and we're only just past the halfway point of the race. And once you get sort of roughly past the halfway point, you should be okay as long as you're careful. You'll be able to make it to the end. The field is spread out enough, so you shouldn't be able to have to worry too much about getting wrecked. But with these figure 8s and these crossovers, it's always possible. And here we are with 2nd, 3rd and 4th, all of us now fighting for position, hoping that we can get the win, as first place is just ahead of all of us. And as I got myself stuck now into 3rd position, I wanted to try and catch up with 1st and 2nd, but they were just too fast, too consistent. They were just pulling away gradually, lap by lap, corner by corner. So I'm really just hoping for something to happen, something that will give me an opening that I can possibly catch up with these drivers they're still just in sight. So I know that there is every opportunity, but it's me that the bad luck happens to. And while second was taken out, I'm now back down to fourth with Waffle Wizard for company, who is going to be my racing buddy for the next few races. I find when you get online, you do find these racing buddies unintentional allies in destruction. And now we come up to the Big Valley Speedway and Big Carnage. This is the big oval track, but when you get to a certain point, there's a big loop here, and it is just a recipe for disaster. I do excellent though on this opening lap, managing to get to the inside, dab of the handbrake, got myself turned around, and I'm away in third with Waffle Wizard, my racing buddy, who will be here at the front of the race with me, battling it out for the win. And brake just before you get to the exit of this little U-turn, then a little dab of the handbrake, and that gets you turned really nicely then for that corner, and you can just power out. Stick to the inside here, because when the cars are coming off the oval, they'll cut down to the inside, but they drift off wide very quickly, so stick to the inside and you'll tend to avoid most of the trouble that can come your way, but it isn't always guaranteed. Go a little bit deep into the corner there, give someone an opening on the inside, but they didn't get the move done in time and got themselves tipped into the wall, and as I see carnage unfolding before me, I find myself back up into second position with first just ahead and third just beside me for keeping me company. Take a nice inside line there, but I take a better line. It gives me set up better for this corner, using the white car there tactically as a brake. And my racing buddy, Waffle Wizard, does exactly what I don't like to do, which is go high and wide straight away, as that's the line a lot of people use coming into the corner. And another bit of luck falls my way as they get taken out, and I'm now up into first position, half the race done, and hoping I can drive away for the win. But I've still got company here. Some good, fair, clean Wreckfest racing. So a little bit of trading paint, banging the doors, but nothing too disgusting is going on. Just good old-fashioned Wreckfest carnage. We speed it up now as we're falling into a train of cars, and as I said, I normally like to go on the inside, but I decided to go outside just the once, and then I lazily list to the right to try and avoid that contact, which was, I could see it coming in from the beginning of the straight, and I still managed to drive into the other car as they did to me. One thing to note, that while I use the same settings I do for my online challenges, or for the solo tournament challenges, which is half ABS, no traction control, half stability control, I've got the gears on automatic when I do online racing. It's just one less thing to worry about, and focus more on the racing. And then after that disaster on the last lap, going down the main straight, I find myself back in the pack, and I've got to work my way back up into the top positions. The easiest way to do that is just to try and avoid people. Seems counterintuitive, but you don't really want to get messed up in squabbling over positions. If you can, you want to take advantage of other people doing that, and you just want to drive on. Although I did take an opportunity there to take out the driver that took me out on the lap before, getting a bit of revenge, wrecking someone, even at the cost of some HP on my car. But I've still got plenty, so I'm thinking I should be able to make it to the end. It's lap 5 of 6. In the top 4, there's only 14 of us left racing, so hopefully it's still going to work out for me. I can see second and third there, fighting away, and now first has got themselves into trouble, and so here we are, the top three onto the final lap, coming up to the final time we're going to take this corner. I get my braking nice and right, come around the corner, and this carnage in front of me. I see a way through to first, but nope, I get tagged there, and then Waffle Wizard comes in to finish me off. DNFing, so close to the win, but just not close enough. Now we're going to go to some dirt oval racing with special vehicles. So there's going to be buses and big rigs here, just waiting to cause all sorts of chaos and carnage for us poor unsuspecting drivers who are going around in cars. And it hasn't even been lap one and I've already got points for wrecking someone, so someone had a very poor start. As the bus there has decided that I really needed to take a trip to the scenic zone on the inside of the circuit. So now I'm back down into 20th position out of 23, but with all these buses and lorries there's going to be plenty of opportunity for me to make up positions, and I duly come across a big pile of carnage here. Hopefully I can weave my way through without causing myself too much trouble. Running a bit wide there helps me stay away from a lot of the carnage going on inside, and then I have an excellent little second half of the lap, making up some good positions while everyone else is wrecking themselves all around me. Nice skillful dodge in the big rig there, as I decide to follow the next one off the track, which is not the correct way to do things, and it will actually slow you down, not following the track. Who would have guessed? But I managed to get myself back up into 12th. Still got the light blue big rig keeping me company, and loads of buses in front, and we're going to go 3 big rigs wide into a corner, which doesn't usually go well in oval racing. I managed to squeeze myself up the inside of all 3 of them, and I am away. Someone else had the exact same idea, decided to use me as their brake, and it's allowed some of the big rigs to come back through. But they've come across a bus, and there's all sorts of disaster going on there. As I decide to do the wide line again, still haven't learned that it's not quite the fastest way to do this track, and then get very lucky there at the crossroads. Could have been a lot worse for me, but it seems that other car was in a much worse condition than I was, and they didn't come off very well at all. Coming up to more crossroad carnage, and I'm still managing to limp away. Still got a good chunk of health left on my car. Most of the wheels are pointing in the right direction. That is a win in Wreckfest. So onwards I go, still just outside the top 10, and when you get to this point it's very difficult to discover who you're racing. You don't know whether you're up against cars that have lapped you, cars that you've lapped. Without checking the HUD and the top left corner, it's very difficult to tell, but there's so much going on that you really don't get that much time to take your eyes off the action. Usually if you do, you're just going to get taken out, as my 2 competitors up in front managed to do, and as that is probably the leader going through. It is indeed, and this is something else. I said it looked like I got overtaken, but it was just the leader putting a lap on me. But we're getting up to the end of the race now. Things are starting to get spread out. There are not many cars, buses and trucks left alive, so we're just now trying to, all of us collectively are trying to make our way to the end, and I've managed to drag myself back from a lowly 20th position to get back up into 6th, or in this case 5th. And it's one more lap. It is me and the car behind fighting it out for this 6th position. I've got the inside line coming around the banked section now. As we come up to the crossroads for the final time, I take the normal racing line. It's a huge mistake as 6th position comes up, takes way too much speed, but knows where the finish line is and has stolen 5th position from me. Something to learn from. And now onto the final race of this video on the Dirt Devil Stadium, one of my favourite tracks, and it is all manners of just chaos and carnage as we went 5 wide there into the first of the dual track sections. Now up to the big jump, I always take the route that I'm trying to take here, even though I get knocked off by someone else having their own accident, but a quick reset has got me back on. I can see that there's some buses here as well, which always go well over the bumps and the jumps, and there'll always be people who take the jumps and take some weird lines around this track. So I use a competitor there to help myself around the corner. So I take the left lane, they take the right lane. I've managed to power my way through as we come up to the 2nd straight, which is just 3 straights essentially in this track. Make a meal of taking that section, but I don't bounce off, don't go flying as those around me do. Managed to drive away still in 5th position, and I'm chasing down 4th here, taking the right lane this time. Gives me a much better entry into that corner, and can I get it 3rd time's a charm? I can indeed. Take that little chicane nicely, didn't have to lose too much speed, gained position while those around me have had accidents of their own. And now I'm in this no man's land where the field is sufficiently spread out. This is a very big track and it's just easy to lose people as someone there takes this section really well, but they made a horrible mess of the exit and I'm allowed to slip through and then take 3rd position, getting up to the heavy heights of the podium. And I got 1st and 2nd just in front of me. I know that if I can keep it clean and if I can capitalize on any mistakes they might make. I do have a Hammerhead RS keeping me company. They got the speed advantage over me, but in this instance I have the quality advantage over them. I know how to take that section of the course, how to get as much speed as possible, and I've got myself into the top 2 as I capitalise on yet another mistake. There's no classy overtaking, no late braking or dive bombs here. It's just keeping all 4 wheels on the track when you're supposed to be keeping them on the track and just driving around. And as we come up to the end of this last race here, is a strong 2nd position. So just hope you enjoyed these races. Diolch and thank you for watching.